Hello and welcome to another video from salesburg.com. In this video we shall be looking at Logitech M705 laser mouse. Now this is a mid-ranged office mouse that has a few features that makes it quite versatile. The one that I'm reviewing at this point in time has been in use for a fair while, and which is a good thing because we will see what time has effect on this mouse. Now going over the features, standard stuffs, left click, right click, the scroller. Now this is a hyper scroller. What that means is if we press this is the standard mode, one click at a time. If we press this again, it becomes free running and it keeps spinning. It's a metal wheel. It has its own weight, and on its weight it keeps spinning, and this is actually very handy. Like, a lot of the time I have this mode on, and generally very rarely I go back to the click type scrolling, and it works quite nicely. Furthermore, this tilts left and right, and what feature it performs can be set through the software. I have it on copy paste, and this makes it pretty much an addictive feature. Why I say this is addictive is that how many times a day do we copy and paste, and not to have the Control-C, Control-V pressed by the keyboard, but rather just that makes life so much easier. Anyhow, moving on. On this side we have two buttons, and normally a lot of people might use it for page up, page down and things like that. I use it for volume up and down. It's very useful that way, instead of having to find other means of changing the volume. And over here there's a little button that if we press, see that little mark over there, that's the button over there. And again, the function can be fixed. I use it for find. Just press that and Control F, it brings up find. And these are some of the most commonly performed tasks in day-to-day usage, and that makes this a very useful setup. Copy paste, volume up and down, find. At the bottom we have an on and off switch, and of course the laser tracker over here, and battery compartment. This is the battery it came with. I don't even remember how many years it's been, but as the title mentions, marathon mouse, and that it definitely is. This has been going for years, and overall, even after years of use, the only sign of usage that I can show is, see this little indents that happened. This was a smooth surface. It went in a little bit. I think there's a hole behind it, so the rubber sort of gets pressed in. Other than that, also the lines on the side, they tend to catch some dirt between the crack over here. Now this is not a major issue, but I thought I'd mention it. There's a LED over here as well. It flashes to show sync or goes red when the battery is low, but I've never seen it go red. So that's the physical properties. Now I'll show you something else. Here is a second one that I have, and this has been used for, I don't know how many years it's been. It's been used for a fairly long amount of time, and as you see, it has suffered some injury as well. My little one went at it and pulled it up this way, so there's a irreversible little damage over here, but it still clicks and everything. The mouse is still perfectly functional. This particular mouse has been used for so many years that the dots that were there in the rubber over here are pretty much gone. See, it's all faded out. It's been used that much, and the mouse is perfectly functional. Even with this damaged, if we do that, it clicks and it works. and I had to change the battery once, I think, and this has been dropped, thrown, any sort of torture test that you can think of. I mean, look at it, the amount of damage it's received, marks and scratches and dents and all that, but still going. So I can vouch for the durability, and also this one had been used as a mouse for a media center, and we often use it at a distance of over 5-6 meters or more without any sort of loss of signal or anything like that. Never misses a click, never misses a movement, on various types of surfaces, cloth, leather chair and whatnot ever, except glass. The advertisement does say it works on glass, but it doesn't. I have a glass table and needs a mouse pad to work. It does read that it's being moved around, but it's not accurate enough that you can actually use it for anything. A little bit about the ergonomy. It fits the hand quite nicely, and the volume up and down, it sort of comes into the thumb without actually having to stretch too far or anything like that. It's just lift your thumb and it's right there. So is the find button, as I call it over here, and there's a little amount of curve with the clicks, and they sort of tend to help your finger sort of rest in the right position, and this scroll mouse also has rubber padding right at the center, which allows for better grip when we are scrolling, and when we are pushing it to one side to other, it happens quite easily. There's no pushing too much, or like if I do it intentionally, it happens. Accidentally, pretty much non-existent. This is not accidental. We are very deliberate about when we want to do it. Also the middle button, but middle button with the hyper scrolling set to the free move can sometimes be a little bit tricky because this thing is very free. Other than that, on this side there's little waves over here which helps the other fingers sort of set in nicely. Now the hand's covering it pretty much, but it helps the other fingers that are not being used to rest nicely. And whilst it doesn't look too much out of the ordinary, it actually is quite comfortable to use hours and hours on end. So that's the physical properties. It also comes with a little micro unifying USB receiver that pretty much goes into the back of the computer and loses itself, so to speak. It's so small, and it works across a few different Logitech products. Now let's look at the software, which is a very important part of this mouse that adds pretty much other 50% of the feature. Okay, so this is the Logitech's setpoint software, and this knows which mouse we have connected. It shows marathon mouse M705. Next to it, it shows how many days are left. Over here it's 720 days left, which is like about 2 years to go. And below it, of course, is the picture of the mouse. If we plug in different mouse, it shows different mouse. The reason behind that is that it knows which position which buttons are at, so we can read to the mouse and configure it. Now a middle button also presses down, so we can use various different assignments for it. And of course, volume up, volume down, as I've shown before, and copy and paste. And then keystroke assignment, I've just left it as Control F. You can do anything like, say, I don't know, Control P if you want print, Control F as I've left it, and so if you go other, there's a whole heap of other options that you can actually apply to. So quite versatile, and you can do that for, as say for example, if you want to change the volume up to select function, we can do that. There's plenty of other functions. Now if we were to press the volume up or volume down, see there's a little notification that shows up as well. Now there are a lot of other features that we have as well. Say for example, the usual pointer speed, scrolling, smooth scrolling, would you like it or not? I don't like the smooth scrolling. It sort of eases the scrolling process. I like it sharp. The acceleration and so forth, and of course gaming. I have played a lot of games with this mouse, and no issues there. Does better than most other mouses, generic mouse that is. Wouldn't compare to a proper gaming mouse, but still not bad. Of course, into advanced setting you can do a lot more tweaking, and with the battery it can also swap with percent, how many percent, and so forth. Unifying, with the unifying feature, you can add other Logitech devices to the same USB receiver, and so you wouldn't be needing to add more and more USB receiver. Just one will do. This is what you use to do that. And there are a few other like updates and supports and things of that nature. So that was the Logitech's M705, and overall quite a nice, well featured, well balanced office mouse. I would say, I wouldn't call it gaming mouse, but for office and productivity, very nice. And it's durable, like, I mean, I've said I've used it for many years, and you can't sort of kill it. It's one of those products that just don't die, and the battery won't die, and it keeps on going and going and going. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. For more videos and reviews, please subscribe to our channel, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.